Hello, everybody. My name is Michelle Brady, and welcome to my portion of the Home and School Connections presentation. We're going to jump right into this and talk about culturally responsive teaching. Okay, I've got my questions and answers already sorted out, so if I look like I'm just reading, I might be, but you'll never know. Anyways, our first question is, what are cultural influences on teaching and learning? And cultural influences on teaching and learning will come from the values that the student has been given from their parents, their beliefs, how they communicate or talk to people, and their style of learning. And these are all things that can influence how a student is able to learn, how an EL student is able to learn. What is cultural competence and its role in the instruction of EL? Cultural competence refers to the teacher being able to not only understand but respect the different cultures that are in her classroom, and the languages that the EL students might speak. How can EL's cultural values and beliefs be integrated appropriately in the context of teaching and learning? We can do this by using books, different stories, texts that are available that talk about the students' cultural values and beliefs. We can talk about things that have happened in history that also play a role in their culture, their traditions, and their experiences. We need to make sure that in our classrooms we are including reading material from multiple cultural perspectives, not just our singular perspective. But if we have a classroom that's got maybe a few Latino students, we can have some books in there that come from, their Latino culture, not just putting in any books that are Latino based, but that come from their culture, because Puerto Rican Latinos are different from Mexican Latinos. So we want to respect those two different cultures. What is the role of culture in student learning? The role of culture in student learning helps those students to build their knowledge. It helps them interact with the teacher, with their student peers, and it also helps them get that information that they're being taught into their brain. If we can bring in our classrooms something, whether it's visual, auditory, that is allowing that student to bring in their own culture and language, as well as getting those other resources to help them learn, that is going to make the classroom more inclusive for those EL students. And we want our EL students to always feel included. How do school and classroom environments influence language acquisition, and what steps are necessary to create an inclusive environment? Steps that are needed to make an inclusive environment are to make sure that those students feel like they are safe and supported. We do not want to have any biases that we may have internally play a role in how we have our students adjust to the classroom. We never want them to feel like they are on the outside. We always want to make them feel like they're on the inside. So allowing them to listen to a story that the whole class is listening to in English, allowing them to listen to it in their home language as well as in English, will help them acquire that English vocabulary quicker. And it will also help them with their confidence, because they're not just going to be guessing with the English version of the story. They're going to know what the story is about because we let them listen to it in their home language. What is the importance of understanding social, emotional, and cultural needs of students when establishing classroom routines and procedures? The importance of understanding the social, emotional, and cultural needs of our students is very important, because not everybody is going to have the same strengths, the same needs, or even identify the same. So we want to make sure that our routines and procedures are meeting the needs of every student instead of having a one-size-fits-all. We need to have a classroom that is welcoming. We need to have a classroom that has differentiated work for the students, because not every student's going to be on the same level. And we also need to make sure in the morning in some way throughout the day that we are checking in with our students and saying like, hey, how are you doing? Giving them that avenue of being able to say, hey, I'm not doing too well. It was a rough morning this morning. It was a rough night last night. And being that listening ear. What are some opportunities and approaches to meet the social and emotional needs of ELs? When you are trying to establish that routine with an EL student, you want them to feel included. So if you are doing greetings at the door with the students, then for your EL student, you can try greeting them in their home language. That is going to make them feel so happy and open up to that teacher, because they're going to feel like that teacher is wanting to get to know them better and using their own language to speak with them. And giving them that connection helps them feel more connected to the class. How might family and community practices or funds of knowledge influence language learning? This is going to influence language learning because funds of knowledge is talking about the skills, knowledge, and practical cultural practices that students have from their homes and their communities. So we can include, sorry, I had a brain fart. We can include stories that tell about some of their traditions from their culture, and we can also use some culturally relevant problem-solving approaches, especially in math. If they were learning math in their home language a certain way, we can allow them, with some leeway to continue to do it in our classroom as well. What are some strategies to build and foster strong family, community, and school partnerships? It is essential that as a teacher and as a school, we are reaching out to our EL students' families to make sure that they are a part of that school family, whether it's hosting a culture night where everybody, and we're making sure that the parents feel welcome to come and share their culture. We need to do that. Learning about family values, cultural traditions, and educational expectations that parents might have of their student is very important as well. Making sure that we're sending home notices not only in English, but also in our EL students' native language is also going to be very effective at building that partnership between school, community, and home.